Welcome back. All right. So, news of the day video for all you fine people for your Monday, December the 4th. Starting things off with the Wings at the top of the board. Patrick Kane. He's at practice with the Wings. He's unlikely to play tomorrow, but he's getting closer. So I will be interested to see which line he ends up on, what kind of role he plays there. Again, as long as they don't expect too much from him, like he's not going to be the player he was 5 years ago, as long as they don't expect that, I think they're going to be happy. I think Patrick Kane should be an interesting addition for a Detroit team that is flirting with becoming a contender, and if Kane plays the right way and if he helps boost up that lineup a little bit, maybe they will be a contender. Maybe we'll be talking about that a few weeks from now. So Winnipeg making some news today. Nino Niederreiter going nowhere. He is staying in Winnipeg, signs a 3-year extension with the Jets. It's a $4 million cap hit, which is very reasonable, and the salary cap should be going up. We'll talk about that again later in this video. But Niederreiter, $4 million cap hit, I think is completely fine. Winnipeg's depth scoring has been really good this year. It's one of the reasons why I think they get underrated by some. All right, your 3 stars of the week in the NHL. Connor Ingram, who went 3-0 and has been absolutely fantastic for the Arizona Coyotes. He's their starting goalie now. He's earned it. Ingram's a really, really good story. A goaltender who was fringe, maybe an NHLer. Again, another goaltender that goes to the Arizona Coyotes, and the Coyotes make him look pretty darn good. Thinking back to Devin Dubnyk being one. Kemper's another too. There's been some goaltenders that have gone through Arizona who the Coyotes have helped to turn their career around. So, Ingram I think is a solid goaltender for Arizona right now, and he's their starter. Second star of the week, Matthew Barzal, just played the 2 games, had 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in those 2 games. For the New York Islanders, a team that does need more wins. They get a lot of points, but they need more wins. Barzal, a big part of the reason why things have been looking better lately for the Islanders. And your third star, Jack Hughes, 3 games played, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. They lost the game against San Jose. That was a tough one. However, it does feel like they're trending in the right direction. So we'll see if, in fact, that's the case this coming week. But Jack Hughes being the third star, I don't think anybody's going to argue about that. So let me know in the comment section below why you would argue against that. All right, Evgeny Kuznetsov. So last summer, there was talk about whether or not he wanted out, whether or not the Caps might be trying to trade him. But with the cap hit that Kuznetsov carries, combined with dropping production, it's going to be a hard time finding a taker for Kuznetsov, right? Well, Washington's off to a really good start this year. The record is pretty darn good. They've had a good road trip. However, Kuznetsov's had his struggles. Tonight, Spencer Carberry sending a bit of a message. He's making Kuznetsov a healthy scratch, calling it a mental reset. So we'll see how it turns out. Laine was a healthy scratch for Columbus about a week ago. He's played better since then. Maybe it'll work for Kuznetsov as well, but if Kuznetsov still wants out of Washington, I don't think this is going to change his mind on that. And so it'll be interesting to see with tonight's game against the Arizona Coyotes how things turn out for them. Washington, again, seemingly winning games that I scratch my head wondering how. And we'll see if they do that again tonight with Kuznetsov out of the lineup. Belpedio's been placed on waivers by the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't think there's a taker for Belpedio, but he's a decent enough defenseman that there might be a taker. I don't think so. Will Butcher passed through waivers a few days ago. I didn't end up having that one on the board. I didn't think Butcher was going to get taken. Belpedio might. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, especially as a Flyers fan. Do you think there's any chance Belpedio gets taken? So the Arizona Coyotes are on the board twice, and I'm wearing their jersey because they are the first team in NHL history to win 4 in a row against the 4 most recent Stanley Cup winners. So Vegas, they beat 2-0. Tampa, they beat 3-1. Colorado, 4-3 in overtime. St. Louis, they beat 4-1. And for tonight, that preview board shows Washington. Washington is also one of the most recent Stanley Cup winners. That'd be 5 in a row if they can do that. So I've seen people asking whether or not Arizona's for real. I think they are. I think the Coyotes are capable of staying in the hunt, especially because I think there are some mediocre-ish teams in the West. This is great for the Coyotes, and I honestly think that's kind of a fun storyline too. We'll see if tomorrow I'm talking about how the 5 most recent Stanley Cup winners have lost against the Arizona Coyotes. And one thing that we say, of course, about when a team's turning it around is we'll measure their record against the good teams. Well, against the 4 most recent Stanley Cup champs, they measure up all right. Anaheim is going to be without McTavish in all likelihood. However, he is expected to travel with the team for their 2-game road trip. No guarantee that he plays in either of those games, but he is expected to travel with the team. So that's a good news part of things for Anaheim. We'll see whether or not McTavish plays in those games. Anaheim, of course, recently broke their 8-game losing streak. And we'll see if they can get on another run. They did have a nice winning streak there for a while that then turned into that losing streak. Maybe they'll get a winning streak coming out of that too. They'll have to do it likely without McTavish for at least a game, but him traveling with the team means it's not that bad. So that's the good news. Pierre LeBrun. So the Board of Governors meeting's going on. Not a lot to report yet. This is usually the Board of Governors meeting where stuff gets discussed and they agree to come back to it a little bit later. So apparently expansion may be talked about at this Board of Governors meetings. LeBrun saying one of the governors for sure will bring it up, one of the members of the board, and probably ask the questions to Bettman that Bettman's already answered, and probably similar answers. But LeBrun, much like the way I've seen it, he thinks it's only a matter of time that they're going to be in expansion mode again. I have seen all the negative comments about it. I don't have any input with the National Hockey League and what they do. I'm not saying anybody's wrong about the idea of expansion. Maybe they're going to be spreading things a little too thin. But I do think expansion is coming. There's just too many people who are waving too much money at the NHL for them not to take that money. Because remember, expansion fees are split amongst the owners. The NHLPA gets nothing. And as I said before, the NHLPA wanted to have maybe a cut of that, and the owners fought to keep it. Well, why would you fight to keep the expansion fees for just yourselves if you were just going to expand the one more time and then you're never expanding again? So, again, we'll see how many teams come in. I would think 2, and then we get into the discussion of where and everything. And I think what's probably holding it back is the Arizona situation. Once Arizona's got their land bought and the plan for the building is out there and we know it's going to go through, then you look at expansion. But until the Arizona question is cleared up, that's probably what's stopping Bettman from just saying, yeah, we'll expand. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Olympic return, I think, is going to happen. I think the next Olympics they're going to go to. I think it's just, it's too much money for them not to get into it. Because again, they don't make the money directly off the Olympics, but there's something there for the NHL as well. And I do think that they're going to end up going to the Olympics for the next time around. So that'll be 2024, right? 2024, right? So yeah, I would think the 2024 games they'll go to, and they'll figure everything out from there. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's been a long time since we had NHLers at the Olympics. I'm old enough to remember when. You might be old enough to remember when, but there may be people watching this channel that aren't, because it's been that long now. It's been about a decade since we saw NHLers at the Olympics. So I think it'd be great if they go back. I think a World Cup is fine. It's fine as a placeholder. If there's only 4 countries, I don't think a World Cup is the right term for that, but I'm not making up the terminology. Also, at these meetings, they will discuss the cap. The cap is expected to go up by as much as $4 million or $4.5 million next summer. So Bettman may have some more numbers on that with a quarter of the season done now, an idea of where that's trending. But yeah, I don't see any reason why we won't see that hold up and see the salary cap go up by that much, because the NHL should have all the money paid back by the NHLPA from the money lost during 2020 and 2021. And so it could be a great time for teams who have had cap problems. And over the last few years, the cap problems have been pretty extreme. Anyways, and on a last note, Arbor Jacki has been activated off IR by the Montreal Canadiens. They have loaned him to Laval for the time being, I'm guessing, to get himself into game action, get himself fit, and then put him right back in the lineup. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.